Hey everyone, this is Matt. In today's video, I have for you my Labrynth XYZ Festival deck profile. So yeah, so if you're playing in the XYZ Festival and you want to play Labrynth, you can go ahead and copy this profile. Or it's a festival. It doesn't, not that doesn't matter that much. Competition's not going to be that high. But you are probably going to be encountering like annoying decks like Sprite and Runic because apparently Runic is legal in this festival, which is hilarious, and Sprite is not quite full power. I mean, they just don't have access to Sprite Elf, but they can still make a super obnoxious board, right? Just without the IP Masquerena or like the Scythe. Okay, so a lot less obnoxious, but still pretty obnoxious because they can get red and carried out. But anyway, so yeah, let's get into it. Just like in my previous deck profiles videos, I'm going to start with the Labrynth Core, right? So we're actually running 2 copies of lovely 3 Welcome Labyrinths, 3 copies of Ariana, and 2 copies of the field spell. So why are we running more cards this time, right? So in my previous Labrynth deck profile, for the ranked climb, I suggested 2 Ariana with 1 field spell. So why am I back up to 3? So the reason for this is because pot cards have been banned. Can you believe that? There's no pot of duality, no pot of extravagance. So yeah, we're actually slightly less slightly, not a great amount, but what has been a noticeable amount, noticeably less likely to see our package if we only have 2 Ariana and 1 field spell. So I bumped Ariana to 3 and the field spell back up to 2 just because I want to see them a bit more often, and yeah, not having the pot cards makes it slightly more, or rather slightly less that I'll see them just normally, right? So yeah, so I would not recommend this in ranked. In ranked, you should definitely do field spell 1, Ariana 2, and don't mess with that ratio. Yeah, so that's the Labyrinth package, 10 cards, that's all you need. Let's get into our trap deck package. We have 3 copies of Lord of the Heavenly Prison. This card is amazing. Like, seriously, any trap deck not playing 3 copies of Lord has got to be kidding themselves. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, Lord is great. And in fact, this is an Xyz Festival. If you want 2 Lords, you can go to a rank 10 package and make Gustav, Max, and then Gustav, Juggernaut Lieb or whatever, and then you can OTK them if you really want to, right? Because they're level 10s, right? But yeah, this card will let you set after you summon, will set you cards from the deck. We have, unfortunately, we don't have our pot cards, but we do run 2 copies of Trap Trick. Again, this is 2 more copies of our Welcome Labyrinth, which we definitely need in this festival because we don't have our pot cards, right? We don't have the pop cards, obviously, but we do have 3 copies of Solemn Strike. This card is just amazing. Again, Zoodiac players, let them make their 4 or 6 material Zeus, and as soon as they attempt to summon their 4 or 6 material Zeus, you Solemn Strike it, and then they cry because half their extra deck is gone. They might have already gone through their Dryden, and then they can't Zeus anymore because Zeus is limited to 1. So Chaka 9 is also at 1, so there's that. So yeah, Solemn Strike, hilarious. Also really fun against Sprite, Gigantic Sprite. I would say wait until they activate their Gigantic Sprite effect, and then you Solemn Strike. That way, if they attempt to make a second one in the same turn, then they won't be able to use this effect because it's hard once per turn. So, yeah, Solemn Strike, always a good card. You can never go wrong with that. So yeah, so that's our back row core. Now let's get into our normal traps. To no one's surprise, we are running 3 copies of Torrential Tribute. This card just wins, right? A lot of decks need materials to make their Xyz. Exo Sisters, right? Most of the good Xyz decks can make like at least 4 materials worth of monsters. Like 4 could put 4 bodies on the field to do their Xyz summon. So yeah, you can torrential after 2 bodies if you don't want them to bring out their first Xyz, or you can torrential after they've already put all 4 materials. Then you can torrential, right? It's up to you. Really depends on the matchup, of course. And we are running 3 copies of Compulsory Evacuation Device. So this card is not once per turn. Same with Torrential. That's why they're at 3 each. This is really fun against Gigantic Sprite. For those of you who have watched my videos against my last Adventures of videos where I go against Sprite, you can literally bounce Gigantic. You chain this to the Gigantic Sprite. You bounce it, and then its effect fizzles. It does nothing, and then all their materials go to the graveyard. Or if they go into a Borbo, or they put a bunch of materials right before they summon Zeus, you bounce their monster, and then they don't get Zeus, and all their materials go to the graveyard. So yeah, very funny, especially in this format. this festival. So we're also doing 2 copies of Ice Dragon's Prison. So most of the decks you'll probably see are Sprite, which are mostly Thunders. You'll probably see what's that deck called? Zoodiac, which is like all Beast Warriors or whatever. Ice Dragon's good against that. You might see a lot of Lyrilusk players. I saw a number of Lyrilusk players. They're all Winged Beasts, right? So Ice Dragon's very good in this format. Plus, Ice Dragons can just deal with like whatever monster you can't out, whatever gimmicky, cheesy, Xyz monster, like boss monster you can't out because it can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. Ice Dragons can take that out. Or you can just steal a monster from the graveyard and use it to attack them with, right? Because yeah, so you'll probably always have a monster to attack eventually. Oh, Mathmech. This is also great against Mathmech because they're all Cybers, right? Usually you want to banish Sigma, right? Whenever they activate Sigma effect, chain Ice Dragons, grab Sigma, and then banish Sigma plus whatever their most annoying Mathmech monster is on their field. So yeah, that'll cause Sigma's effect to fizzle, and it's once per turn. So yeah, they won't be able to do that. We are running 2 copies of Terrors of the Overroot. So this card is just more removal, right? We don't have pot cards. Punishment was also banned, folks. No Dogmatica punishment. So yeah, we just need more removal. And Terrors allows us to remove back row as well. Labrynth Mirror matchups is pretty good. Yeah, this can just remove like pesky cards. Obviously, it requires you to put one of your opponent's cards back on the field. But if you watch my Adventures of series, where I use this card, most of the time the card I give them back does little to nothing to actually help them. So yeah, there's usually a card in their graveyard that's useless. Like take their Ash Blossom, put it in defense mode, worthless, right? For example, right? That's one thing you can do. So Terrors is kind of funny. And then our last two, I want to say our last 2 normal traps, we are running 1 copy of Eradicator, Epidemic Virus, and 1 copy of Deck Devastation Virus. So here's the deal, folks. Eradicator will hit any Runics you see. It'll hit those annoying Numeron decks. You'll probably run into Neurons. Eradicator is great against that. Eradicator will hit let's see. Obviously, Labrynth Mirror matchups, you call traps, right? Or like maybe they're playing or Altergeist or something, you can call traps. Let's see. It'll hit those annoying Kaiju rank 8 OTK decks, right? Because they usually will land a lot of going second spells. Yeah, this will hit a number deck. Dex Devastator will hit Sprite, as we all know. It'll hit Exo Sisters. Most of the Exo Sisters are low attack. Let's see. Martha is the only one that's not low attack. So Martha is the only one that will not get hit by it, unfortunately. But all the other Exo Sisters will. So I would actually wait to flip Devastator until they've either used Martha. Because usually, if they have Martha, they open with Martha, right? And Martha on the field will bring out Ellis from the deck, and Ellis does get hit by Deck Devastator. So as soon as they use Martha and they get their Ellis, then you use Deck Devastator. You'll kill the Ellis on the field. You'll kill whatever they have on their hand, and unless they have a second Martha, they won't be able to make any rank 4 plays. So yeah, that's how you want to do Exo Sisters. Also, Deck Devastator also wrecks Mathmech. Every single one of the Mathmech monsters are low attack. Trying to remember Shark decks. Sometimes you'll run into Shark decks. Left-hand Shark is a 1500 attack. Right-hand Shark. Oh, yeah. Left-hand Shark, right-hand Shark both get hit by this. Let me see the other Sharks. Wait, Silent Sea Nettle is a low attack as well, 800. Yeah. So if you run into any of those like rank 4 water decks, yeah, they all get hit by Deck Devastator Virus. So, yeah, Deck Devastation Virus is very good. So why are they only at 1H? Because Lord can search them, and because because of the festival, there's a lot more variants. Like this Deck Devastation obviously does nothing against the Danger Kaiju rank 8 decks, right? So use Lord to search out the virus you need, and then literally tribute Lord to activate the virus. So, you don't necessarily have to see this on turn 1, but if you do, you can usually proc it, summon Lord, tribute, or summon Lovely tribute it. So, yeah, one of each was pretty good for me. Sometimes you'll run into an occasional like pure Runic deck. Yeah, Runic is apparently legal in this format. So yeah, that's what Eradicator is for. Oh yeah, Lyrilusk. Leerlust gets absolutely wrecked by Deck Devastation Virus. Absolutely wrecked. I would say wait until the Leerlust player has played the spell, right? Because the spell will search them a little bird to the hand, right? And most of the time they will open with that spell if they have it, or they'll search it off one of the other little birds, right? So let them use the spell and then hit them with Deck Devastation Virus. Anyway, so I believe that is all my normal traps. No, three more normal traps. What am I saying? 3 copies of Evenly Matched, folks. You go second, you win. So someone mentioned about my Adventures of video. Oh, Evenly Matched seems bricky because there were a couple games where I drew it and it didn't do much. So what the thing is, it's not about what you see in that Adventures of video, it's what you don't see in the Adventures of video. So Evenly Matched is such a good card that most of the time, if I'm going second and I see this card, and my opponent makes their board and I play it, they instantly scoop. They just scoop completely, right? So because of that, because there's those are such like boring, uneventful games, I don't save the replay to put on my Adventures of video. So it might look like from my video that Evenly Matched isn't doing much work, but it actually is. You just can't see it because again, they instantly scoop when it happens. So I don't know. Maybe y'all enjoy games where like my opponent instantly scoops after I play one card. If you do, comment down in the comment section below, and maybe in my future Adventures of videos, I'll save those replays so I can show you guys and gals like me playing Evenly Matched or one card and then them immediately scooping. So if you enjoy that, let me know. So all right, cool. Yeah, now that's all the normal traps. So let's get into our counter traps. We already have Solemn Strike. We are running 2 copies of Draco Utopian Aura. This card is just great. It's just 2 more copies of Solemn Strike. Why we only run 2? Because unfortunately, if you read the last line, you can only activate 1 of these per turn. Whereas Solemn Strike, you can activate as many as you want per turn. So you don't really want to see more than 1 of these in your opening hand. And in fact, in one of my Adventures of video duels, in my last Adventures of video, I do see 2 of these in my hand, and unfortunately, I can only set 1. Or rather, I mean, I set 1 because I can only use 1, right? But yeah. So that's fun. And then 2 copies of Solemn Judgment. So because I have noticed that you're going to see a slight uptick, like above average frequency of either decks that want to go second, like a Numeron, or like Kaiju OTKs or whatever, like where they're blind going second and they have a bunch of like cards to blow out your back row. I have noticed that, and because we don't have like pots to help us see our Lord of the Heavenly Prison, I felt like 2 copies of Solemn Judgment were enough to just like keep me alive. Yeah, 2 is probably enough for you as well. We are playing 2 copies of Broken Line. Whoops. So Broken Line is another personal favorite of mine that you may have seen in previous festivals. But yeah, this card is hilarious. It's so funny. Like, the only reason I don't run this in like my main rank deck is because I feel like I don't have space, right? There's other cards I need to be there. But this card, when festivals ban out Floodgates or like, whatever, pots, Dogmatic Punishment, I bring this card back. This card is just great. It's great. It's better going second, but it's pretty decent going first. Where let's read what it says. When a spell trap card or monster effect is activated in this card's column, while this card is set, negate the activation if you destroy it. So if you're going first, you have one of these, you set it in the middle column because most players activate cards in the middle column. And if you have a second one, you can do one of the extra monster zone columns. Although in a Xyz festival, they're not really going to be summoning to the extra monster zone because there's no links, right? So just set this in like the middle left or middle right column. It doesn't matter, right? If you watch my Adventures of video, I usually hit something even while going first. It's like, yeah, you kind of have less choice what you hit, but you still get to hit something most of the time. And also, there's a hilarious interaction between this card and Terrors of the Overroot because when you set a card from your opponent's graveyard to their field, you pick what column that it goes in. So if you saw my Adventures of video, there's a hilarious thing where I like take my opponent's Pot of Desires and give it back to them so they can banish 10 more cards from their deck. But then I Broken Line and negate Desires. It's hilarious. Like this card is hilarious, and it does do some work. I've never felt like this has been a brick. I mean, I'm not saying it'll never brick, but I feel like it'll be more useful than when you brick. Also, going second, your opponent sets a board. Set this card on the column of the most annoying part of your opponent's deck. Like if your opponent puts up a, whatever, like a Sprite Carrot, you put this in the column of Sprite Carrot. So when Sprite Carrot activates and sends another card away to negate one of your other cards, you can flip this and negate Sprite Carrot. So literally just put this in the column that you want to negate when you're going second. And then, so those are all my counter traps. And then my final card, which is a Floodgate, is one copy of Imperial Iron Wall. This card is searchable off Lord of the Heavenly Prison, so that's why I only have one. And there aren't that many decks that banish here, but the few that do exist, it's funny to use this because, for example, Exo Sisters, they need to banish, and if Imperial Iron Wall is on the field, what are they doing? Tell me, what does Exo Sister do if they cannot banish cards? The answer is nothing. So, yeah, you flip this against Exo Sisters, obviously before their XCs come out, and you just win. It's that simple. Runic. If you run into a Runic player, this is another out to their board. Like, you can flip this, right? Search this off Lord, flip it on the as soon as you can, and then all their spells are shut off. So, yeah, Iron Wall is just funny. It'll also protect you against Call by the Grave. So if if your Lovely's in the graveyard and you're trying to revive it with the field spell, it'll protect you from Call by the Grave. It'll protect you from evenly matched, folks. There were a few games where my opponent had evenly matched. Oh, you can't play evenly matched because I have Imperial Iron Wall. So, yeah, get wrecked. Yeah, Imperial Iron Wall is hilarious. Yeah, one is all I really needed. If you want to see it more, like maybe cut judgments, right? It's up to you. But yeah, Imperial Iron Wall was just hilariously useful. Always hilarious to see. Finally, for the extra deck, you can play whatever you want because we literally never use our extra deck once. Because there's no Dogmatic Punishment and there's no Pot of Extravagance, so not even a Pot of Prosperity. So, yeah, just fill this up with a bunch of cards that maybe will come up. So, you could put it with the Zoodiac package. Chakanine, Borbo, and Zeus. There you go. You have a Zoodiac Zeus package. Right? If you've got two Aras, you can make Chakanine, rank up into Borbo, attack directly, and then make a form into a Zeus. Done, right? You can do the DDD package, right? So, you can do... what is it? Wave King Kaiser, Marksman King Tell, and Divisor King Deus Machinex, right? So you can make this with two Arianas, rank up into Marksman Tell, and then rank up into this guy, and then you have a 4-material this guy. So what else? We can run the Gustav package or the Super Dreadnought. Super Dreadnought Gustav Max with Lieb, right? They're rank 10s. Two Lord of the Heavenly Prison can make this, and that's an OTK, right? Let's run Baguska. Can't go wrong with Baguska. It's a fiend. It's rank 4. You can two Arianas make this. Stalls out your opponent. They do nothing, right? Let's run a new Numeron Dragon package. So one copy of Numeron Dragon, one copy of Hope Harbinger. Wait, I don't own Hope Harbinger. What the L? Oh, so I've been playing. I'm silly. Turns out I played the Hope Harbinger, the Numeron Dragon package without owning Hope Harbinger. Let me rectify that. I now own Hope Harbinger. Alright, one copy of Hope Harbinger and then one copy of Jaglubion, number 97. There you go. It's a rank 8 package and your Lovelies are rank 8s. Yeah, so apparently I forgot to put that into my extra deck, so not sure what else I played, but what else? We can do Exiton Knight. One copy of Exiton Knight. If your opponent controls more cards in hand or field than you can make this rank 4 and then blow out your opponent's field. It's kind of funny. We can do the Raiders Knight package. One copy of Raiders Knight, one copy of Ark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. So, yeah, I don't know what card I had in place of Hope Harbinger, but whatever. And in fact, again, you're not required to actually run this extra deck. You can just run whatever you want, whatever Xyz monsters you want, or you can have an empty extra deck, which I think one of the people in my Adventures of video commented that they just left their extra deck empty. Yeah, you can do that, but I like to have cards that maybe we'll do something someday, right? Anyway, so yeah, that's my Labrynth Xyz Festival deck profile. Yeah, I very easily you just blew through all the rewards. I got my certificate, right? So I'm happy that they actually made Labrynth playable. I do think it's stupid that they ban all pots, right? It's like, come on, like you can still run Pot of Extravagance Prosperity while having Xyz monsters that you use, right? Duality is like, okay, like you locked out the special summons, but not forever, just for one turn, you know. So kind of silly, but they left Pot of Desires free. Like, okay, sure. Anyway, so yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. You learned something, whatever. See you in the next video. Peace.